No, Wednesday.
This whole month, quarantine month, feels like just an ongoing Monday. So I get why you
Everything
said
turns into one big blob, right? You get
that.
up, you work from home, you watch TV, the news, then you sleep, then you work again. Everything just becomes one.
I know. I know. I saw a tweet yesterday that said, "This week has been the longest 6 years of my life."
Yep.
Oh man. Well, on a positive note, this year we've started live training courses and they're going well. So that's what we're here to chat about.
Yeah. Big announcement.
Yeah, absolutely. And so it's, a brand new product for us. So if you want to explain to all about what our Jumpstart training courses are.
Announce to the world what we're doing. So over the last 10 years, we've really focused on online learning exclusively. But at the beginning of this year, we started a new training product called One Day Jumpstart classes. So these are live instructor-led classes that we do. They're 1 day long, all done online through WebEx meeting or Zoom or whatever the technology is behind it, right? We just had the first 2 classes and they were very well received. So we're very excited about this, and we're going to put a lot more effort behind these Jumpstart classes this year.
Yeah, the first 2 definitely went well, and I think better than both of us expected even, or we didn't have much of an idea of how it would go. Like no expectations. Yeah, so of course it exceeded, but we had a good amount of students and well received. So I think that is what made us confident in putting more eggs in this basket as well. Because I remember in one of the interviews we did as well, we said, we put all of our eggs in video-based learning, sort of this Netflix style. So what do you think changed for you or for our company in switching it?
Yeah, so the bulk of our work is still in on-demand video-based training, of course. That's like you said, Netflix. There's a reason why Netflix is so big, because people like watching content online, be it a movie or be it SAP training, and that works really well. However, every week on our live chat on the website, we get people asking us to do live training classes with an instructor. And over the last year, literally every week we got these requests, and we always said, no, that's not really what we want to do. We're not really set up to do this. But then at the end of last year, you and I sat down and we thought, you know what? We have all these instructors and all this SAP talent. They're creating online courses. Theoretically, why don't we just leverage that talent pool and have them create live classes? So, we figured let's do a couple of test classes, see how this goes, see what we would have to do internally to accommodate this and support this. And then by, I think, January or February, I think we launched the first class with the first 10 or so students. And I think people really liked it. So the results were promising, and I think that's why we're going to do more of these classes.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I think we started, I remember it was Thanksgiving week, and you said after Thanksgiving we're going to have a career development discussion.
I have an idea.
And then, I think February, our instructor finished up in January, and then the first one was February. So
now, since you're our training manager, let me ask you a couple questions. So we kind of touched on this, but how long are these classes, or how are they structured really?
So we decided that 1 day course would lend itself to be most convenient for students. We know we have students on the West Coast, the East Coast, and actually we've seen students from all over the world participate. So we had an Australian and a New Zealand student this time as well, but most students are based out of North America. So we thought at 11 to 5:30 p.m. 11 a.m. to 5:30 p.m. accommodates a wide range of time zones.
Eastern time.
Eastern time, yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and so classes run throughout that time, about 6.5 hours. sometimes a bit shorter, give or take 30 minutes, based on the class size. But it starts in the morning. It's all online, like you said. It's through GoToWebinar at this point. We get students set up, they log on, they're introduced to their SAP expert instructor, and then honestly, and I know I'm biased because I'm the training manager, but even one of our employees at micromanagement took this course, and she goes, that's the fastest 6.5 hours of my life, because it's super interactive. Our teacher who teaches that course really keeps you on your toes. So the last class just felt like it zoomed by. I had 20 minutes in between to eat my turkey sandwich, and then we kept going, and I think all students were quite surprised at the end. They were like, wow, 6.5 hours? Okay, cool. So
what's the logic behind why is it 1 day? Why is it not 5 days, 3 days, or 2 hours?
Well, in the beginning, we went to our SAP experts as well and said, the person who was creating the course, and asked him, so we said, you're the expert to get this 101 Jump Start, kind of basic navigation, overview of modules, that sort of basis of a class, how long would you need? And he was very, very staunch in saying, you do not need more than 1 day. There's a lot of these training programs, and especially SAP, it's days and days, and it's PowerPoint after PowerPoint. And he was very strong in saying that. I think you and I agree that a lot of things are fluff and are longer than they need to be. And so we deliver exactly what other trainings do, but just in a more efficient and succinct manner. And it's been really well received, because no one wants to sit through a 3-day passive training.
I cringed at the thought that some people actually have to do that, sit through 5 days of an online class. Like, how do you do that? Actually, you don't. I think they're logged in, but they actually don't participate in the class, right? We all know. So I think that was important for us, that, it's short, 1 day, 6.5 hours, you can knock it out, you can focus for that long.
Yeah.
And then move on with your business life.
Yeah. All right. I think that it's a good test as well. If we wouldn't sit through it gladly, then we shouldn't present it either. Yeah. So I think it's interesting, it's captivating, but none of us want to sit through 4 days.
We don't dog food.
Yeah, exactly.
That's right. So what topics do we have now, and what do we have coming up?
So currently we have the SAP 101 Jump Start. So basic navigation, we go over the largest modules in SAP, go through business processes, transactions, and all of this is interactive, as I said. So you're actually doing the exercises. We present students or set them up with an SAP system so that they can actually carry out these functions. So it's very learn by doing instead of learn by listening. And so we decided to start with that 101. Thought that'd be our bread and butter. Most people want to come for the basics and have that on their resume that they took that course. And then with the success of it and with demand from students, because we did our little market research on our website and put up materials management, sales and distribution, and ABAP, and had students sign up for a wait list if they were interested in any of those topics. And I think MM and SD are tied at this point with about 20 signups in a short amount of time. So our number was 2. We go, if 2 people are interested, let's go ahead. And then overnight we had a ton. So in the works right now in the pipeline, our SAP 101 teacher, her name's Nicole Land, she is producing our materials management course. So that will be coming very shortly. And then hopefully soon after, sales and distribution. And we've also, a little more loosely, but still in the pipeline, we've discussed ABAP, and then a financials course, because we know that's in high demand.
And I think MM was already scheduled, right? So I think if you go to the website now, that's already scheduled. You can sign up, and I think SD is just a couple of weeks behind that.
Yeah.
Financials is next, and then ABAP too.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's true. It's live. So yeah, students can get signed up.
Yeah. I know you and I talked a little bit about what's coming after that, and we're still a few months out, of course, but we had the idea to obviously then go into other modules and maybe even offer some sort of master classes
Yeah,
for the
I love that
advanced
idea.
students, right? Maybe go really into configuration and cover the hard part. Okay.
Yeah, especially for ABAP, I think that's
Mhm.
what we're leaning towards. But yeah, at this moment, they're the jump start, but that's not to say that we can't extend or expand. And so within our classes, I know we talked about how it's interactive, about the system, but what's included for a student? So a student signs up, what's included for them?
Yeah, I think the important part when we designed these was we all sat through these boring classes where one person talks and we all sit there and listen and we look at hundreds of PowerPoint slides.
Yeah.
We knew from the get-go, yeah, we're not doing that. All right. So it was very important for us to make sure that this is a real interactive session. So you cannot just kick back and just watch it. And that's not how this works. So the teacher will involve everybody on the call, and call people out. So you have to share your screen. You have to show the exercise that we're doing, right? You have to show how to actually perform the tasks in our live SAP system. So that's included in the class. You get a login to our live sandbox systems so that you get real hands-on learning experience with that.
Yeah.
And of course, we give you a student handbook that you can download, take with you for all your notes. At the end of the class, everybody gets a little parting gift. I'm not saying what it is, but there's a little gift at the end. Yeah, so that's what's included in every one of our Jumpstart classes.
And it's such a good point that you said that students it's interactive in the way that they get called out, because in the past 2 classes, I monitor the students that are in the class, if their audio is working, all those good things. And so I can also see if they're on a different screen, if they're checking cat video on YouTube or their email. It'll show up with a little triangle with an exclamation point. And because Nicole is so interactive and will say, okay, Thomas, show me your screen. Let's run through this exercise. Everyone's just on their toes and they have to be engaged with, which is awesome because we have so many distractions at this point in time. And so I think I saw the exclamation point once, maybe. So it was a really good indication that this is working and people truly do learn, I think, much better by doing than just listening.
I agree. Another little thing that I really like, and I think that's important to us, is when you're sitting through a webinar and everybody is muted, and if you have a question, you have to type it into a little chat box. I always hated that.
Like that. Me too.
So it's just a little thing, but we don't do that, right? So with our classes, everybody is unmuted, and then we ask them to mute themselves so we don't have to listen to their barking dog. But if they then have a question, they don't have to type it into the little chat box. They can simply unmute themselves and say, "Hey, Claire, hold on one second. That one thing that you just showed, I have a question about this," right? So that makes it even more interactive. Students are really in control of how they want to participate in that class.
And students definitely have taken advantage of that. We were unsure from the beginning if people would be shy, but that has not been the case. I mean, people are here to learn. They're professionals wanting to learn SAP. So if you're not unmuting yourself and asking questions, then it's a disservice to your own learning. So people have been really good about asking those questions and shouting out. And it hasn't, I think that all of those are questions that maybe everyone's thinking as well. So there's been a lot of class participation as well. People being like, "Oh, Jerry, thanks for asking that question." Little class community. And so our 101 classes, I know it sort of sounds like it's a beginning class. That's what we were afraid in the beginning, that it would only be for someone who had no knowledge of SAP, but I don't know if that's really true for us. I mean, what do you think? Is it just for beginners? Is it for everyone?
Yeah, we want to make sure that these Jumpstart classes are not just for beginners.
Yeah.
Right? So we do start at the beginning, but we very
Mm-hmm.
quickly go into the intermediate level topics. So we want to make sure that we design these to appeal to a very broad range of students. I wouldn't
Mm-hmm.
call them advanced classes. So if you're an advanced SAP user, these Jumpstart classes are not for you. Again, we have these master classes
Yeah.
that we want to work on. Right? But if you're a new SAP user or an intermediate user, these are the classes for you. You will guarantee to learn something in these classes.
Yeah. Agreed. Sitting through all these classes as well, I'm going to become a master of SAP 101 Jump Start.
Sooner or later.
And so I know, as we've said at the beginning of, or for many years, our bread and butter was on-demand courses. But there's definitely advantages to this type of learning. So in your opinion, what do you think is the advantage of live training over our on-demand instructor-led courses?
Yeah, so we know everybody learns in different ways and at a different pace and in different methods and modes. And we want to accommodate that as much as possible.
Mm-hmm.
You know, obviously we have seen tremendous success with our on-demand online courses, right? That's our bread and butter business. 30,000 plus students as of right now take these on-demand courses. But we also know not everybody responds well to on-demand classes. Some people like to have this formal structure of a scheduled class that says you have to be there at 11, and then we're going to do this lesson first, and then we're going to do that lesson, and then we're going to do this exercise, and you take a break, and then we'll go back into this. So that's what these Jumpstart classes are for people that enjoy this more structured approach. Also, of course, with on-demand courses, you don't have the live interactivity with the instructor. You can't just quickly ask a question about this one thing. Right?
Yeah,
So that's the other thing that these Jumpstart classes offer. So if you like that, and a lot of people obviously do, right? Jumpstart classes are the way to interact with your instructor right away, ask a question, get it answered.
True, and it's a guaranteed SAP system.
Yes, exactly.
Of course.
No. Which, if you then take these Jumpstart classes that we have designed now and compare it to other classes, and you've seen other classes, you've taken SAP's classes, you know, we do our competitive recon.
Yeah.
Right? Try to stay up with what everybody else is doing. How do you think our Jumpstart classes are different than all the other online classes that you can take out there?
Well, yeah, we all know how I feel about the SAP course we took. I don't want to be too mean on this interview.
We're biased, of course. Yeah.
Of course, I was not a fan, but I think the main difference between ours is the interactivity, is that you can unmute your microphone. I actually think in all trainings, and Sarah, our employee who's taken tons of trainings for previous jobs, she said that she's never experienced a training like this before, where it was unmute yourself, ask a question, tell your instructor right there, hey, I'm having an issue, here's my screen, let's fix it all together. So I think that really is what sets us apart and makes our classes have a competitive edge. And then also the time, so not being a 4-day course, not being in class course, not having to fly somewhere, sit in a classroom, or you can easily be at home, have it not affect your day-to-day life or have to really change your introduction of your work week and able to take the course. And I think my favorite part of it, and the part that works for me as a learner definitely, and is a big reason why we put so much of this emphasis in our courses, is none of us do well with someone just talking and us listening for 6 hours straight. And you could be the best listener on the planet with the highest IQ, and you're going to be daydreaming off about your hamburger for lunch or your weekend plans. And so I think that constant sort of putting someone on the spot is the best way that we've found that students learn, and that's been received quite well. I mean, in all of our feedback from students, that's the thing that they say. They say this was great, it was interactive, the instructor absolutely knew her stuff, but above all of that, just the ability for us to ask questions, to interact. So I think that's
I'll add two things to it. I used to teach a lot of SAP training classes many years ago, right? Classroom classes for SAP when I used to work there. And I remember, those were 5-day classes, and they would start on Monday morning, and I said, good morning, and people sit in their seats, and then I put the first slide up, and then in the bottom right-hand corner, where's my little here? In the bottom right-hand corner, right there, it would say slide 1 of 620. And people would just sink into their seats. I'm like, oh my God, it's going to be a long week, right? So that was important to us, that it's not that experience. We're not just droning through a bunch of PowerPoint slides. Quite the opposite. We're very light on the slides. We're very heavy on the exercises. And let's log into this system and actually see how that is done, right? And it's also not, let me show you how that's done. It's like, no, Claire, you log in and you screen to all of us, right? And then we see how you do it. And I think that is a big, big difference, and it just makes the experience so much better. And then the other thing, touched on that, but we took a lot of time finding the right instructors for it.
Yeah, it's so
right?
true.
So just because SAP is not good enough for us to be an instructor for these jump starts, right? You got to have a really good presentation style that people respond to. You got to have a sense of humor too. You got to be able to engage people, right? Not everybody can do that. So it took us a while to find the right instructors for this, and I'm super happy. Nicole Landis, she's amazing.
Yeah, we love her.
So
that's a very important
my two things that I wanted to add to it.
Yeah. No, I'm glad you did it. A shout out to Nicole, because I think that's, we did spend a lot of time in vetting people, making sure, is it someone we want to engage with for here or listen to for 6 hours? Yeah, well, I'm excited.
Rich, this interview feels like it's been 6 hours already. Let's wrap it up.
It's a perfect ending. All right.
Well, thank you, Claire.
Thank you.
You've done an awesome job, and I'm looking forward to more jump starts.
Me too.
All our other people.
Very cool. Thank you.
Bye, Internet land.